Hello everybody, this is a double unboxing. Well, really an unboxing and a half. Happy iPhone Day. We now know what Apple's going to bring to the table. I know I'm a bit late on this Note and V30 action, but I was away. I was at Burning Man. I work there every year and I'm gone for 3 weeks at a time. So came back to find this in my mailbox and this very generic brown box right here, which is a pre-production, pre-release LG V30. So that's the half unboxing. There's really nothing in this box but the phone, and it's not an official retail package. But this here is a T-Mobile Note 8 with 64 gigs of RAM, of flash storage. So let's unbox. Let's start with the Note 8. This is what the box looked like. A very cool little touch here with the stylus. It's a midnight black version. Galaxy Note 8. Here's all the gory details. And there's nothing on this side, and the Note 8 logo on this side. And then here it says Samsung Galaxy Note 8, 64 gigabytes. On top here is just a sticker that the PR folks put on, and here's the IMEI and all that other good stuff. And yeah, so let's have a look. Honestly, actually, I'm not even sure if this is a T-Mobile version. When I opened the box briefly to take a look, there was a T-Mobile SIM in there, so I assume it's a T-Mobile version. But we'll find out. It might be an unlocked model. I haven't turned it on. Slide this out, and there's another box. And not too much on this, but you can see this is where it opens, like this. There's a little arrow there. So let's open this up. Ooh, look at that. Dun, 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 dun. Look at that big slab of glass. So let's pull it out, shall we? If I can. There we go. There's the phone, which I'll get to in a minute. And let's see what else is in the box. You can see the rectangular cutout here for the dual camera system. And then here is a bunch of manuals. Let's see. Eject pin. I love that it has a barcode for that, for the SIM removal tool. Can I open this? Let's see. It says, how to transfer content to your new Galaxy phone. Use Smart Switch. Exciting. How to plug it in. Comes with an adapter, which is cool. And quick start guide. This might be an unlocked device. I don't see any T-Mobile documentation, despite that T-Mobile SIM card. Quick start guide, the usual stuff that you would never read. It's kind of cool that you have that though. So let's get rid of it. T-Mobile SIM card, awesome. And then here are some adapters. So you've got the USB Type-C to Type-A adapter. You can plug this into the your old cable from your old phone into this, plug this into your Note, and do the transfer that way. This also came on the Galaxy S8 box. And here is a nice little adapter, micro USB to USB Type-C. If you have an old cable floating around, plug this in, and you're good to go. Then of course there is a fast charging, adaptive fast charging charger with USB Type-A. This is again the same exact content as was in the box, so the Galaxy S8 or S8 Plus. And here we've got more stuff, specifically a pair of AKG branded earphones. I assume these are the same as came with the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. I see 3.5 millimeter headphone jack sticking out right there. This is pretty decent for a bundle pair of headphones, but I'm picky about these things, so not something I'm going to get too excited about. What is this? I have no idea what this is. It's some sort of squeezing tool. To remove and replace the tips on the stylus. I think that's what that's for. And then we've got, of course, a USB Type-C, as you can see in here. It's kind of hidden in there, but you can see a Type-C to Type-A cable. Again, I'm not going to unwrap this. I have enough of these. And I believe this little package here is replacement earbud, different size earbud, what are they called? Buds, I guess? There you go. So I'm not sure I'm repackaging this properly, but hey, whatever. So that's what's in the box, all right? Now, this wouldn't be a full unboxing if I didn't do what I love to do, which is remove the sticker from the phone. Dun, 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 dun. You love it when I do this. So on the front here, there's one. Are you ready for this? Yeah, you didn't hear? That one wasn't very loud, not very satisfying. So that's the front. Let's see if the rear is more satisfying. Are you ready? Not really. Very thin, these. They don't kind of make this nice tick sound when you remove them. Let me see if I can remove this IMA sticker. Oh yeah, good. It's easy to remove. I hate these things. So there we go. Now we have a non-obstructed Note 8. I'm going to walk you through all the different bits and pieces. I hate this Qualcomm sticker up there. I'm going to remove it. Why do they need to do that? It's like the Intel inside. It's ridiculous. So, all right, let's turn it on and see what happens. All right, Galaxy Note 8, Android, of course. Look at this fabulously large display. And let's see if it's an unlocked or T-Mobile. We'll find out as soon as the splash screen comes up. Suspense is killing me, guys. All right. Well, I think it's an unlocked unit because it didn't show up a T-Mobile splash screen, so maybe I lucked out. So there you go. All right. I'm not going to set this up right now. I'm just going to walk you through some of the features in a minute. Let's do the V30 real quick. So as I said, generic brown box. That's what prototypes and pre-production and pre-release review units come in. Very exciting, right? Now technically I opened this already once and it came, here's the phone. You can see there's some sticker here with some information about which number device I have. The phone actually came in this little pouch. I removed it from the pouch, sorry. So nothing here, there were no screen protectors on the device. So, you know, that's what I get. Now what else is inside the box, you're gonna ask? Well, you know, these are not retail boxes, so it's not very exciting. You got a partition, and then what do you find? A USB, micro USB, sorry, USB Type-C, as you can see, kind of in here. Let's see if I can show it to you without opening this up. There it is. USB Type-C to Type-A cable, SIM removal tool, and on the other side here you've got an LG quick charger of some sort, USB Type A. I'm trying to see if it's that fast. It just says fast charge. I'm not sure if it uses quick charge from Qualcomm or their own stuff. I think it's quick charge on the LGs. So now you know what a pre-production, pre-release, prototype-ish package looks like. A generic gray box with the phone inside. And so this is the V30. This is LG's large phone flagship. Not quite as big as the Note, obviously, but nonetheless a flagship. Let's turn this on. I have to push the power button in the back and see what happens. So this is definitely an unlocked device. I'm not quite sure if it has US market bands, but it should probably support at least some of the bands we want for US operations. Otherwise, they wouldn't have sent it to me as a review unit. And this is an AMOLED panel, so very exciting. Look at that, that is beautiful. So welcome and welcome. Ta-da, 2 welcome screens. 2 18:9, 2:1, 18.5 technically for the Samsung displays. 6.3 inches on the Note and 6 inches on the V30. Remember the Galaxy S8 Plus, I believe, is 6.1, so slightly smaller than this. And then in the back, both have dual cameras, as you can see, here and here. So let me walk you through the details of each of these phones one by one. Let's start with the Note. So, as I said, 6.3-inch display, Super AMOLED, curved on the edges, just like the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. You can see the curve here. And super bright. Right now it's adapting to the ambient light, so it's a little dimmer. It's a bit square in terms of design, the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus, But, you know, I kind of like that, honestly. Very little bezel, top and bottom, even less than I think than the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. And of course, being a Note, it has a silo for the S Pen, which is right here. And there it is. It's plastic, but it has a nice little clicky thing at the bottom here. Very satisfying. And other than that, USB Type-C charging, headphone jack, very, very good thing to have. Mono speaker, primary microphone down there, as you can see. On top, you've got that stupid Qualcomm sticker, secondary mic, up here actually, and then this is the SIM slot, which is also a micro SD card slot, nano SIM micro SD. Volume rocker here on the left hand side with the annoying and not remappable Bixby button. And then on the other side here you have the power lock key, which is a little lower, which is kind of nice because when you're holding the phone like this, the power lock key is right there. So that's good ergonomically speaking. And then in the back, you get this dual camera module with the flash and heart rate monitor. Oh, it's starting to talk to me. So I'm gonna make it shut up by going back. And you've got the fingerprint sensor, which is a little awkward, like still too high, but it is a little easier to find. It's a little more recessed than on the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. So that's good news. Let's talk about those cameras for a quick minute. So Samsung is the first to do a combination of, I'm not sure which is which, but a regular camera lens, wide angle, and a telephoto zoom lens, both with OIS. So nobody's done both with OIS until today with the iPhone X or iPhone 10. So that's exciting. They were the first, and that means that your low light zoomed photography will be a slightly better quality, and more important that you will have a stabilized portrait mode as well, which is going to improve in low light. f/1.7. I'm assuming this is the wide angle just for for this unboxing. f/1.7 OIS, 12 megapixel dual pixel autofocus. This is a slightly lesser 12 megapixel sensor with the zoom lens, and it has no dual pixel autofocus and probably slightly smaller pixels and an f/2.4 lens, but it does have OIS. So this is what the layout is. Now, this is not the first dual camera phone with OIS. The Huawei P10, P10 Plus, and Mate 9 both had dual cameras with OIS. And seriously, why will it not shut up? And so, yeah, this is not the first. Huawei was first, but Huawei does a monochrome large pixel array, like think a 20 megapixel or something like that, and then a smaller 13 or something. And it's black and white for the large array and color for the small array. So it's a different setup. So this is, as I said, the first that has a telephoto zoom lens as a secondary lens that has OIS. And again, the iPhone 10, iPhone X does this starting today. So Samsung's kind of joined by some good company there, but they were the first. And then, let's see, talk to you about everything pretty much. The battery in here is 3,300 milliamp hours. It's a slightly smaller battery than the Galaxy S8 Plus, believe it or not. But supposedly the performance is on par in terms of battery life. So I'll be putting this to the test and letting you know how it works out. So there you have it. The Galaxy Note 8 wireless charging, everything in the kitchen sink in this guy. And so I'm going to turn the screen off so it stays quiet. Now let's talk about the V30, and maybe I'll put the Note in the background. There we go. So the V30 is obviously LG's flagship phone, and honestly it's kind of more exciting than the Note. The Note is kind of like a Galaxy S8, S8 Plus on steroid. Larger screen, the S Pen and all the features that go with it, and the dual camera. But this is not a G6 on steroid. This is a completely new take on the G6 formula. First of all, AMOLED screen on a LG phone. This hasn't happened in a really long time, since the Flex phones, Flex G2 Flex or whatever it was, and the G Flex. And And it's a gorgeous panel, 2x1, perfectly 2x1 aspect. As you can see, very little bezel top and bottom, but there's a slight bezel on the edges compared to Galaxy the G6 and the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. But it's in terms of industrial design, as you see, a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but it's really gorgeous, and more importantly, like this satin silver finish is incredible. But it's finally made with the same attention to detail and quality as Samsung's phones. And I say this because Samsung has really hit a milestone with the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. Look at that. That note just slid almost right off the table. I'll probably want to put it in this cardboard thing so it doesn't do that. So you know, Samsung has come up with its own industrial design with the curved edges on the screen and everything, and nobody's done it better than that. The G6 came close, but the G6 always felt like a proto version of the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus, whereas this is really in the same league in terms of like the fit and finish, the transition between that stainless steel edge and the glass in the back. Just gorgeously made phone, absolutely tremendous. The only thing, it's a bit wider than I expected because these bezels are a little bit more pronounced, but it means it's going to be a lot more shock proof if it gets dropped. Water resistant and dust resistant, just like the Note, of course. The screen is small though, it's 6 inches, 2K display, so that is a little higher pixel density. But the biggest thing that I love about this phone is how light it is. For its size, compared to the Note, it feels really great in hand because of it. And that fingerprint reader is perfectly positioned, the Power Lock Key fingerprint reader. You just fall naturally on it. Big difference compared to the Samsung phones. And the G6 obviously had that advantage. So, you know, what else is, you know, why would you want to buy this over the Note and or over the G6 even, other than the screen size? Well, the camera subsystem and the audio subsystem are what will make you want this phone. And you know, as I said, the design that is very, very Samsung lookalike. It doesn't have the screen wrapping onto the edges though, so that's slightly different. I prefer that, honestly. I don't like the distortion on the edges of the Samsung screens. So let's walk you through. The bottom, you have a primary microphone, USB Type-C, and a mono speaker here. I'm not sure if it uses the top speaker as a stereo speaker or not. SIM card tray here on the right hand side also supports micro SD. Left hand side has the volume rocker, as you can see right here. Top has a headphone jack, and not the best placement. I like them better at the bottom, but hey, there is a headphone jack and a secondary microphone. It's a pretty thin phone, thinner than the Note for sure. Power lock key and fingerprint reader here, dual camera system, flash. I'm not sure what this is. It might be laser autofocus. It does not have a fingerprint. A heart rate sensor like the Samsung, I believe. So same size battery as the Note, 3,000 milliamp hour, 100 exactly. And same Snapdragon 835. Both of these have 835s. The Note has 6 gigs of RAM. The V30 has 4 gigs of RAM. And of course, the Note, this one has 64 gigs. I'm not sure how much storage this pre-production unit has. I assume it's 64. So let's talk about the cameras, because this is where things get really, really interesting. You know, I've always been a big fan of what LG's been doing since the G5, followed by the V20, followed by the G6, and now the V30, which is that instead of doing monochrome black and white like Moto did with the the Z2 Force and Huawei's been doing since the P9, that they went with a super wide angle lens, which I believe is this one, and a regular lens, which is that one. Actually, I'm not quite sure about these, but whatever. I'm going to assume this is the regular and this is a super wide angle. And this design means that you can now get really close up to a subject and still get a really good view of it. And so I personally find that really awesome. Now, this does not give you the ability to do parallax and depth sensing, which means it doesn't have a portrait mode, and that's a little disappointing. For those of you who take a lot of pictures of people, the Note will probably be a better, or an iPhone for that matter, will probably be a better choice. But in terms of specs, they've really cranked things up a notch with the V30 this year. So if you remember properly, in the past, the G5 and V20 had a 16 megapixel for the main lens and an 8 megapixel for the ultra wide angle. The 16 had OIS. but the main didn't. And the main also, sorry, the main did have OIS, the 16, and the super wide angle did not have OIS and was 8 megapixels. With the G6, they changed things up a little bit. They actually...
Hold down until you hear a sound. To turn talkback off, press and hold the power key until the...
So it's talking to me as well. So what I was saying is that the G6 changed the formula a little. They went with two 13 megapixel sensors, which gave you more resolution for the ultra wide angle, which was welcome, but a bit less resolution on the main camera. And, you know, but it was a really well sorted camera, and there was less distortion from the wide angle, ultra wide angle. Now the V30 goes kind of back to a hybrid of the two. It has a 16 megapixel main camera with OIS, and it has a 13 megapixel wide angle, ultra wide angle without OIS. But what's really interesting is the f-stop on these. This is the first phone that has an f/1.6 lens on the main camera combined with OIS. This should make low light performance really tremendous. On the downside, it only has 1 micron pixels, which are tiny. But that made the camera perfectly flush, which Apple is not able to be doing somehow, or choosing not to be doing. And then the ultra wide angle is f/1.9. Now, to put things in perspective, the best ultra wide angle lenses so far, I think, have been f/2.2 or f/2.4. So that's a huge improvement. And so this is a very unique phone in terms of imaging because of that. So no portrait mode, but really well sorted ultra wide angle and really fast lenses. And this 16 megapixel sensor, the main sensor, should really give you lots of detail to crop with and stuff. And noise reduction will work better on large arrays of pixels because you have less of that smearing going on. So it's a compromise to use 1 micron pixels, but you know, LG has traditionally shown that it can do 1 micron pixels really well. So we'll see how it goes. So still have to test this. I'll let you know. I told you about the battery capacity and about the guts of this. Same as, basically they're both the same other than the amount of RAM. Now let's talk about the quad, the quad DAC, the HD audio circuit in here. This is using the same chip as the SS, provided to LG for the V20 and some versions of G6. It's a super high-end DAC and headphone amp, and in my opinion, the best sounding audio on any phone came out of the V20, and I never tried the G6 with a quad DAC, but this has the quad DAC, so this should sound as good as the V20, this V30, and I'm really looking forward to listening to audio on this. I'm a big audiophile, and you know, imaging is important to me, but sound is just as important. And this is probably why I would pick the V30 over the Galaxy Note here, because I like the ultra wide angle better, and I like the audio performance of this quad DAC. So it'll be very interesting to compare these two phones in real life and see what the pros and cons are. They're kind of evolving their previous flagships, G6 and Galaxy S8, into these kind of super phones with the Note 8 and the V30. So it's really interesting, and I'm really excited about it. I really love this silver V30. I have a feeling I'm going to really dig it. So that's what this is all about. Stay tuned for more of my thoughts on these two phones, especially on the podcast. Tomorrow we're doing a podcast, but it will be all about iPhone. So stay tuned for next week, where I should have some feelings and thoughts about these two camera systems and generally speaking about these two phones. Really exciting to have these, to have access to these early. This is not, as I said, a release device, so it'll be interesting to see when I finally get the final version. But for now, I'm going to really dig this silver one. And, you know, here's a size comparison. There's definitely a different size, but the weight is huge difference between these two. And again, the purpose of their cameras is very different. I didn't mention much about the front camera. The Samsung wins here with f/1.7 lens. That's an 8 megapixel sensor, whereas the V30 has f/2.2 5 megapixel sensor. But I'm not a selfie person, so I don't really care too much. So there you have it. Two Korean flagships, two of the latest Android flagships in my hands right here. unboxed for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe to my channel and like the video, hopefully. Listen to my podcast, mobiletechpodcast.com. I'm Tankerl on Twitter, TNKGRL. It's Tankerl, the comic book character without the vowels. Stay tuned for more videos, unboxings, and other things. And again, like, subscribe to my podcast, join the party. Cheers.